Hello and welcome. This is Jenna from MCGUIRE, and I'm here with Simon Says Stamp to celebrate their newest STAMPtember collaboration, and this one is with Gina K Designs. This video is packed full of tips for saving time and supplies and effort when creating a really special card that you want to make multiples of. But even if you only want to make one, I'm hoping you learn a few things along the way. So these cards have a special shaker window inside that shows lots of movement and sparkle, which really makes the cards extra special. Now let's look at that collaboration for STAMPtember between Gina K and Simon Says Stamp. It is this beautiful classic 6x8 stamp set, and there are coordinating dies available. There are also Poly-Glaze sheets available that coordinate with the stamp set and dies. Poly-Glaze is a pre-printed sheet that you can add foil to using Gina K's foils and a foiling machine. Now I don't have the Poly-Glaze to show you, but I guarantee if you go to Gina's channel, you'll see lots of Poly-Glaze examples. But do know that that is also available with this special collaboration. As I create with these products, I'm going to show you 4 cards. The process of making 4 cards, you could do more, you could do less, but sometimes batch creating doesn't really take that much longer for multiple cards than it does for one. Let's get started by heat embossing on the acetate to create that tree window. Now, a lot of people struggle with getting a stamped image on acetate, so I have some tips for you. Now, I'm starting out by cutting 4 pieces of Simon Says Stamp heat-resistant acetate, and I cut these to be about 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. And I'm also cutting a piece of white cardstock to be the same. That white cardstock won't be on a card, but it's helpful with getting a nice image. I have my MISTI stamping tool, and instead of the foam pad, I have my Gina K Design double background grip mat. The nice thing about this is the side facing up towards the camera is smooth and grippy. The other side you can use as a stamp. I'm placing my piece of cardstock that is 3.5 by 4 3/4 into the corner of the stamping tool and placing the tree image at the center. I then am using anti-static powder tool generously on the top of the white cardstock and on both sides of one of my acetate pieces. I will put a magnet there because the acetate doesn't reach the grip mat, so it's going to hold it there. And then I will stamp the image with Gina K embossing ink. I really like her embossing ink. I will stamp that once, and then I'll ink it up and stamp it again. I don't know, I'm a double stamper, it's a habit, but we have stamped a clear image onto that acetate. I will then sprinkle on embossing powder. This is Gina K Silver Fine Detail Embossing Powder. I'll sprinkle it on and you'll see it sticks everywhere, even though I used a lot of anti-static. What you want to do is flip it over and flick it generously from the other side, and that will knock off all that extra powder. And then I will set that one aside and repeat the process with another. So I have used the anti-static powder onto my white cardstock and both sides of the acetate very generously. The reason I do this is acetate loves embossing powder. The embossing powder wants to stick all over it. However, if I use the anti-static on both sides and the surface that it's laying on here when we stamp on it, that eliminates a lot of that static. The static the embossing powder even likes to cling to the backside of your acetate, so that's why I put it on the back side also. But be sure when you put the powder onto the stamped image that you really flick it firmly from the other side. We don't normally do that with cardstock, but with acetate you want to, and it'll knock away the rest of the embossing powder that you don't want. I highly recommend using Simon Says Stamp heat-resistant acetate for this because it'll take the heat of the heat gun without warping, and this is a very thick, high-quality acetate, but you can test whatever you have. Now the reason I'm stamping and then adding the powder and setting it aside is I can do all 4 panels. Then once they all have that powder on there, I can let my heat gun get very warm and then bring it to the acetate and melt that powder very quickly. Keep the heat gun moving around and you'll see you get a beautiful heat embossed image on the acetate. It looks like it's floating. Then you can move on to the next one. So the thing that I did here to save time was I stamped and added the powder to all of the images. Then I'll heat set them all at once because my heat gun will be very hot and that powder will melt quickly. So you can see I have 2 here with gold embossing powder, and then I'll have 2 with silver embossing powder. So the trick to getting nice heat embossed images on acetate is to use a heat-resistant acetate and a lot of anti-static powder. Now the nice thing is that anti-static powder will wipe off easily. I just use a dry cloth and rub that on both sides, and you'll see it becomes nice and clear, and look how gorgeous that is. If your anti-static powder wants to stick a little bit and still show, just use like a baby wipe or a wet cloth to wipe it off. But you can see a dry cloth work well for me. I can't get over how beautiful that image is. And you'd be surprised how quick that went to make these 4, because once it's set up, making 3 more doesn't take much longer. These could be used on the front of a shaker window, these could be used as an overlay on a card, or even a clear acetate card base with stamping. Now it's time to get those cardstock panels ready that go around the tree. And I'm going for unique colors, not your typical holiday colors, but you could if you prefer. To cut these panels, I'm using the Gina K Master Layouts 14 die set. It has lots of dies in it, including this rectangle that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And it has faux stitching on the inside edge. You could just cut with a trimmer if you prefer, but I love the faux stitching. Then at the center of that, I'm placing the tree die. This will cut the window for our fun little stamped image that we just did. I'll run that through my die cut machine, and I will be using this negative space piece that has the faux stitching, but I do have that tree die cut there at the top left that I can save for another card. So this actually would be great for 2 for 1. All you have to do is stamp the tree image on these die cuts, and you have another set of cards. I won't be using those tree die cuts today, but I will save them for the future. Now the 4 colors of cardstock that I used are Gina K Innocent Pink, Ocean Mist, and Plum Punch, and then I also used white for my 4th card. Once I've created all 4 of these tree panels, I will flip them over and use Gina K Tape Runner on the back side. And then I will lay the acetate piece behind it, lining up the heat embossed image with the window. It's very easy to do, and I will do that to all 4. So the key to batch creating is to do all of the steps at once. So I'm doing all 4 of these panels at once, then I'll move on to the next step and do all 4 at once, instead of making one individual card and then going to the next one. That takes much, much longer. While I do this, I want to mention that there are other images in this stamp set that would work great for this technique. Those ornaments would be great going down a card, and you can turn the ornament itself into a shaker window like we're doing here. So this is a technique that will work with a lot of stamps and coordinating dies. Next, I'm going to create the dimension for this card that will form a well for our shaker window. I wanted to go with something that was quick to do, would hold up nicely in the mail, and be not too much bulk. So this is what I think works the best and doesn't take as long as other options. I'm using Altenew double-sided adhesive sheets, and I'm actually holding 2 pieces together so I can cut 2 pieces at a time. And these pieces I'm cutting to be slightly smaller than our colored panels that we cut the tree out of the center. So these will be slightly smaller than 5 by 3 3/4 inches. For this method, you'll need 2 of these pieces for each card, so I'm cutting 8 of them now because I'm creating 4 cards. I then have some craft foam here. This is inexpensive white craft foam you can get at a craft store. The one I choose to use is from Spellbinders. It's called Pop-Up Craft Foam, and that gives you nice dimension and it die cuts beautifully. So I'm cutting these to be the same size as that double-sided adhesive. So these pieces are also cut to be slightly smaller than 5 by 3 3/4 inches. I will then place the double-sided adhesive sheets on both sides of this craft foam. So again, this craft foam has a little bit of dimension to it, and it will hold up nicely in the mail instead of doing strips of foam tape for your shaker well. So I have the adhesive on both sides of that craft foam, and I'll do that with all of the pieces. Next, I will use the tree die to cut right from the center of this. And believe it or not, it die cuts through all of those layers. And we'll use that negative space on today's card, but the tree here, I can use that along with my leftover trees from earlier for other cards. Now, when you run through the die cut machine, this craft foam will flatten a bit, but it'll pop up even more after you give it a little bit of time. I can now remove the release paper from one side of the craft foam and put it on the back of one of my panels, lining up the tree opening. I got to put my head up right over it so I can make sure I line it up, but it lines up wonderfully. Now you could here instead use foam tape and just do foam tape all the way around the tree. However, I don't like when I use just thin strips of foam tape here and there because it gets crushed in the mail. This will definitely hold up better. The other reason is this is much faster in the end. I'm able to just cover the entire backside nicely with dimension, and it's not too much dimension. You can see they're not super thick. Last but not least, for our shaker window, I need a backing that will show through the window. So I cut one piece from each color of cardstock, and these are 3.5 by 4.5 inches. Now it's time to fill our shaker wells. So I'll start with the first panel, flip it over, and remove the release paper from it. I will put inside of that little shaker well some Gina K crystal sequins. Now, when you put your bits inside of the well, make sure you spread them out. You don't want to pile because they might get sandwiched in between. So I like to spread them out smoothly, and I'm putting quite a bit in here. Keep in mind that this heat embossed image on the front of the shaker window is pretty solid. There's not much showing through. So the point of adding these sparkles on the inside is you want something that is sparkly, that'll catch the light, and then you also have that bit of movement and you can hear it shake around in there. So this is more about creating a tree that sparkles than anything else. But you could do this with a lot of different stamped images on acetate and that are a little more open, so you can see more of the sequins. But again, I'm going for the sparkle in movement and sound. On this next one, I used some tiny little crystals from Honeybee, so I could try that out, but that didn't give as much sparkle because they're so tiny. I definitely like those sparkly sequins much better. Now on the back of my gold heat embossed tree here, I used some Pink and Main Gypsy sequins. These are iridescent gold, and they give a lot of sparkle, just like the crystal ones from Gina K. So in this case, you'll see a lot of that gold sparkle through our gold heat embossed image. I wish you could see it in real life because the sparkle is outstanding and the sound of the movement is also. And then for the white, I went back to the Gina K crystal. Now that our shaker windows are complete, you could go ahead and glue these on the front of a note card and you're good to go to add a sentiment. However, I really like to have a gold or silver mat around my shaker window. I think this just gives a nice detailed finished look, but you could skip it if you wanted to. Now I want those mats to be gold matte cardstock and silver matte cardstock, which is a little bit pricier than regular cardstock, and a lot of it's going to get covered. The only thing that's going to show is that little outside edge. So I'm going to show you how to preserve some of that inside cardstock for future use. So the big rectangle die that I have there is from Gina K Designs Master Layouts 2. It creates a plain rectangle that is slightly bigger than the faux stitched rectangle that I used to create my panels. So it'll give me a tiny little mat that will peek out from our shaker windows. I will use that and a smaller rectangle die, just another one from my stash, to cut at the same time. That way, that smaller rectangle die cut that's left over, I can use on a future project. No one will ever know we cut the center out of these matte pieces, and it didn't take any longer by adding that extra rectangle in the center. You could do a word die, you could do whatever you want there in the center. No one will know. Now I'll put adhesive on the back of our mat and add it to a 4¼ by 5½ inch white note card. I like to add this first on all of our panels and then add the shaker window right on top for all of the panels. Again, that is the best way to batch create cards or mass produce cards, is by doing each step on the cards at the same time instead of making one card and moving on to the next. Then we can add our shaker windows right at the center of these, and you'll see there's a very thin silver and gold mat around that shaker window that I absolutely love, but you could skip if you wanted to. I really appreciate Gina K Designs Master Layout die sets because they often have a die and then one that's just slightly bigger so you can have that tight mat around your card panel or whatever element you're creating. Next, we need sentiments. So I have a piece of white cardstock in my stamping tool, and I'm stamping 3 sentiments at once with clear embossing powder. Then I'll rotate my paper and stamp those again on the other side of it. I did use anti-static powder tool first. By stamping multiples here, I'll save some time again because I can create all of my sentiments at once for the cards that I've created, and I'll actually have 2 left over. I then will add silver embossing powder to 3 of the sentiments, gold embossing powder to the other 3, and that way I have the 2 different options for my cards. I let my heat gun warm up for a bit, and now we can melt the powder. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to share with you a tip that I think makes a noticeable difference. And that is, I often like to heat my heat embossed images from the back side of the cardstock and melt it that way. It takes a little bit longer, about twice as long to melt it, but I think it makes it smoother. So let me show you a comparison. This gold Merry Christmas I melted from the back side. And then the Christmas wishes above it, I melted from the front as normal. And you end up with a smoother image on the Merry Christmas where we heated from the back side than you do on the Christmas wishes that we heated from the front side. The Christmas wishes is a little more bumpy. The Merry Christmas is smoother. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but I feel it makes a big difference, especially when this is the focal point of your card. And I encourage you to try this because you may appreciate the difference also in your final heat embossed images. Then I can use the coordinating dies to cut these out, and I can choose which sentiments I add to my cards. I was about to glue all of these onto my cards when I thought I really wanted to add some of these little stars in the background. There are 3 different size kind of stars that are included in the stamp set. I should have done this earlier, before I assembled the shaker window, but I didn't think I needed it at the time, but I felt like this balanced things out a bit more. So I'm taking my completed cards, putting it into my MISTI stamping tool. I don't need a mat underneath it because there's a little dimension to this thanks to that craft foam. And I'm stamping the stars around the top of the tree using embossing ink, but I won't heat set it. Remember, embossing ink also creates a watermark image. It just makes it a little bit darker than the background. So I'm just doing that for a little subtle interest, but you could skip this if you wanted to, or have done it earlier. It would have also been fun to stamp with a background stamp on this before we created our shaker window or used an embossing folder. To finish the card off, I just glued the sentiment right onto the front of the card, and I added some gems onto the front of the acetate. So let's take a closer look. I wish you could see how much sparkle and movement you have inside of that tree. It makes it look like it's twinkling in real life. It's just gorgeous. And you can see how we have that kind of floating gold heat embossed image because we did it on acetate and added dimension behind it. And you have the nice gold mat that we took the time to add. And as I said, I did add a few gold gemstones to the gold heat embossed image on the acetate for even more sparkle. Now the stars I stamped on the back of this one because clear embossing ink doesn't show up on white. Instead, I just stamped with a really light gray ink, so that would show up a bit. So this is a technique that you can do with a variety of stamps and coordinating dies that you have. You could choose an image that has more open area so that you see more of that movement on the inside with the shaker bits. However, I really like this because that shaker movement just gives you a little bit of sparkle showing through, that little twinkling effect, and you can hear the sound of the movement. Now again, I recommend using little iridescent or sparkly confetti or sequins like I did on my blue, white, and plum card. I find that captures the light more and the movement more. So there you see 4 examples. Again, you could do more traditional colors if you wanted to, but I wanted to try some non-traditional colors today. I hope you enjoyed this video and that some of the tips that I shared help you with creating cards in the future, especially if you're batch creating. I thank you for watching and have a wonderful STAMPtember.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at SimonsSaysStamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.